Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Today we are going to start lesson 6 and the title of this lesson is the history of the car. Right? As you can see in the picture that how was the first car and how are the modern cars now. You can see here on the roads we can see means the very modern, very expensive and the latest models cars, right? Today's objectives. By the end of this lesson, I will be able to read and listen the text carefully and answer the given questions. Know the history of the car, right? A brief history of the car I would like to tell you. The first automobile powered by an internal combustion engine was invented and designed in Germany during the 1880s. In 1903, Henry Ford founded the Ford Motor Company and started an era of US leadership in auto production that lasted for most of the 20th century. Okay, the history of the car. When do you think these events in the history of the car happen? The 1940s, okay? And the 1819s. You are going to research about these pictures and you are going to search that what events took place regarding the invention of cars in 1940s and 1890s.
Read, listen and match the people, speeds and places with the facts.
The history of the car. 1769. The first self-propelled car.
Nicolas Cugnot was an engineer in the French army. In 1769, he used a steam engine to power a three-wheeled cart so that it moved by itself. The cart travelled at walking speed, and the army used it to pull heavy cannons into battle. At that time, no one thought about transporting people with the cart.
1801. The first UK steam cars.
Before 1801, many people in the UK travelled about in carriages pulled by horses. Then Richard Trevithick found a way of making steam engines much smaller, and he put one of these engines on a carriage. His new horseless carriage was called the Puffing Devil. More and more people could now travel in carriages.
1865. The first speed limits.
Engines continued to get better, and horseless carriages became faster. The locomotive law in 1865 set the maximum speed of these vehicles at 3 kilometers an hour in towns and 6 kilometers an hour in the country. You also had to have someone to walk in front waving a red flag. No one could imagine that 100 years later, cars would travel at far greater speeds.
1896. The first motor car death.
On the 17th of August, 1896, Bridget Driscoll stepped out into the road and a car killed her. This was the first fatal road accident. The car was travelling at a speed of 6.5 kilometers an hour. The police investigator described it as an accident, and he didn't expect it to happen again. Unfortunately, the police investigator was totally wrong. Between 1951 and 2006, a total of 309,144 people died in accidents on British roads.
1903. The world's biggest motor company begins.
Ford wasn't the first motor company. The French were the first to open a car factory in 1889. But Ford, in the USA, quickly became the biggest. The factory opened in 1903, and in the next 24 years, they built 15 million Model Ts. It took workers just 93 minutes to make each car. Ford made it possible for lots of people to buy a car.
1965. Pollution control.
Until 1965, no one worried about air pollution from traffic. In that year, California passed laws to control the pollution from cars. The rest of the world soon followed their example, and driving became a little greener. The rise in the price of oil in the 1970s made driving more expensive too. These days, making cars greener is the biggest challenge for the car industry.
This is the end of CD1.